television highlights of the news of yesteryear. It's 20th of July, 1934, and at Air Base in Washington, D.C., crews of 10 U.S. Army bombers get instructions for fabulous flight to Fairbanks, Alaska, from Operations Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Henry Harley Arnold. He's same Army airman who, 8 years later, is General HAP Arnold, Chief of U.S. Air Force fighting World War II. But in 1934, he's heading peacetime flight of 10 Martin bombers, looking pretty well equipped for war. Men assigned to historic flight are given netting with gear, for Alaskan mosquitoes are deadly. Franklin Roosevelt is serving his first term in the White House, as eyes of world are focused on HAP Arnold and his pioneering airmen, flying in formation catty-corner across the continent. In charge of America's infant Air Force at close of First World War, Arnold proves growing strength of nation's Air Force since those days of the glued-together Flying Jenny. His formation flies to Fairbanks and back again. On return to Washington, flight is complete success, landmark in aviation history, proof of America's newfound prowess in the air. To Arnold and his crew, Secretary of War George H. Dern says,
Arnold and members of the Alaskan flight, the Army and the nation are proud of you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
With trophy of trip as memento of great mass flight of 1934, Lieutenant Colonel Arnold soon becomes Chief of Air Corps. And then in 1942, with smoke of Pearl Harbor hardly lifted, he becomes Henry Harley HAP Arnold, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Air Force, Headquarters Washington, Operations War. American bombers fly in formation once again, but this time they are big B-17s crossing the English Channel to do battle with Hun of 1917, now 25 years later, fighting free men under the swastika banner of Nazism. General Arnold directs the dizzying dogfights, and in 1945, the last of their Führer's fighters crashes in defeat. 15th of January, 1950. There's a ghost plane in the sky. Henry Harley Arnold dies, and millions join Mrs. Arnold and the General's two sons in mourning a great, great loss, as HAP Arnold goes to a hero's rest.
On Cape Cod Beach near Provincetown, Massachusetts, artistic pilgrims of the middle 1920s have annual get-together and paint fest. In mid-20s garb as colorful and picturesque as their artistic efforts, gathering peppers the beach with models, easels, paints, and brush. Natives of area provide subject matter, and it's obviously a pose-as-you-are party. Remember when all bathing beauties look like this? Time makes changes.
At ancient roll-top desk and dated dictaphone, Arthur Brisbane, famed newspaper editor and columnist, prepares his popular and widely read copy. Then, December 29th, 1936, in New York St. Bartholomew's Church, is written Last Great Brisbane Story. World's highest paid newsman is dead. Then Governor Herbert Lehman is among many notables come to pay their last respects. Here's James Farley up from Washington, where he's Roosevelt's Postmaster General. Representing World of Sports, one-time king of heavyweight boxers Gene Tunney comes to say farewell to man who was headliner of Hearst Syndicate for 39 years. All New York mourns his passing. Leading the pallbearers are William Randolph Hearst and merchant Bernard Gimbel, as Arthur Brisbane is taken to rest.
McNutt of Bloomington, Indiana in 1928 as he becomes National Commander of American Legion. These scenes were filmed 5 years before McNutt was elected Governor of Indiana, 9 years before he became High Commissioner of the Philippines.
And here's Edna Wallace of the stage, wife of singer-comedian William DeWolf Hopper, and star of comic opera as early as 1890. Here, before cameras in 1926, she's 52 years old and will soon make 4 theater appearances, where she'll tell how to look 18 at almost 3 times that age.
Star of old Ham and Bud series, film funny man Lloyd Hamilton does a 1920 off-the-record act. Hey, are we seeing double? Or is this his twin doing the same routine? No, there was only one Lloyd Hamilton, and 2 nostalgic looks at him deserve a third.
It's 1922, and near San Pablo, California, 130,000 gallons of naphtha boil away after tanks were struck by lightning. Tank walls and courage of firemen confine blaze to storage areas, but tanks and contents are total loss. It just burns and burns and burns.
It's 8th of December, 1921, as with German war brides, doughboys of U.S. occupation force, the Watch on the Rhine, return to their native soil. It's a great day for wives and children, as for the first time they see this land of milk and honey. And milk and honey it'll be for returning soldiers, too. They drank a toast when they sailed off to war, but as Johnny comes marching home again, America's had months of prohibition with 12 long, thirsty years of it to come.
It's July 6, 1927, and in Detroit, Michigan, 5 balloons prepare for annual race, important event of the times. First airball takes off and the race is on. Happy landings, wherever you come down. Here's Detroit 2, eventual winner of contest. Pilot is Sven Rasmussen, who lands his wind-blown craft in Kingston, North Carolina, for a new record of 508 miles. Spectators across nation watched for contesting balloons from massive open-top touring cars while driving down dusty roads and gravel highways. Here goes the winner, with almost 26 hours of flight ahead of it before it comes again to Earth. It's a great event in a great year for aviation, for it was only a few weeks ago that Lindy flew the Atlantic.
Glittering Greenwich Village in the glorious 1920s. Here's Romany Marie, famed village character of the rollicking and carefree era of riotous nightlife, peephole doors, and prohibition. And here in Village Studio, artists in short skirts spend long hours with easel and brush. This is Helen Thurlow. Look at that boyish bob. No need to prompt you men to look at this. Artist Fern Forrester Shea wears hairstyle of the times. And astride behind Ambrose the duck are Oxford Gillies shoes and short afternoon dress worn by Margaret Holmes, now sheathed in coat of muskrat with raccoon collar. Well, look where Ambrose was hiding out. Seems as if Ambrose can't duck his work, however. Bet he sends his artists a pretty big bill for this. But look out, Ambrose, you have company. Apparently, our Persian doesn't care to offer Ambrose any catnip. And Ambrose isn't going to be duck soup. In gay days between wars, before the crash and depression, working hours in Greenwich Village are broken with light laughter, and village nights are crowded and noisy with zany music and shuffling footwork of the foxtrot. the plunking banjo, blaring trumpet, but it's the time of a people's life.
Bone-breaking ball game. It's not hockey, it's hurling. Time, June 1934, place, New York. Here to bat ball is Ireland's Kilkenny team, 10 times hurling champions of Emerald Isle. Opposing them is team of best hurling players in New York. Teams clash twice, first at Polo Grounds, then at Innisfail Park. Irish champs win ballpark venture 14-9, but New Yorkers come back to win return engagement 16-13. Hurling, sometimes called polo on foot, is Ireland's national game, almost as old as Ireland's history. Idea is to jockey ball through opposing players' goal, but in practice, players bat opponents around a little too. Water boys. It's 1928, and in San Francisco Pool, water polo teams of Olympic and Hollywood athletic clubs splash it out for championship of Far West. Biggest battles for ball are fought underwater, but scuffle on surface is rough enough. Olympic team, Black Caps, tosses ball for a score. With perfect teamwork, Human Fish of Hollywood Athletic Club takes ball down pool and into Olympic territory. White caps might as well be waves, wave black-capped Olympic score. And when all the swimming and fisticuffs are over, 1928 Water Polo Championship of Far West belongs to the hard-swimming Olympics of San Francisco.